artist and musician for Progress. Artist and musician for Progress. Thank you so much for having me. My friend Dana Buckner introduced me to Karen, and I appreciate the invitation to come and read. This piece I'm going to read is called Learning the Invisible Lessons. And it was published, and the published date was just this Wednesday that just passed. And it's published through the journal, The Perch, through Yale Program of Recovery for Community Health. And it was founded by a Dr. Michael Rowe. And he wanted people's voice, people with lived experience of struggles, to be able to share their stories and our voices be heard. So, the link isn't out to purchase it yet, but if you follow me at I Am Mitzi Sky on Instagram, when they release it, I'll be able to share the link. So here goes, Learning the Invisible Lessons. And I want to tell you a little of my backstory. I came from Jamaica when I was 8 years old in 1974, and I didn't grow up without television. I grew up without television in Jamaica on the island, and so that's kind of why I changed my last name to Sky, because when I had to find that peace within myself, I remember just laying on the ground in Jamaica, looking up at the sky, watching the clouds go by, and trying to figure out what the shapes of, there goes a rooster, there goes a cow, or something like that. Just that peace, that silence, that stillness. And I've done a lot of work, like listening to people like Ram Dass and Eckhart Tolle and people like that, just to reconnect with Maya Angelou, people just connect with that peace within. So here goes. Learning the invisible lessons. They try to make me invisible, but I learned to see myself. In the silence, I learned to listen to the small voice. Through the pain, I found the lessons. Still I rise, worthy and humbled. There are times when invisibility doesn't affect me, not one bit. I walk with my head held high, grounded in love and awareness. I know the setup, the silent agreement in society to see me and yet not see me, to take what can be taken and leave me destitute. Because what matters is money, not connection. When you know it's a setup, you get a different perspective on knowing your worth. There are times when the invisibility hurts, when I want change, when I want to be with people who are creating and finding meaning, when I want my human experience to feel as free as my spirit. But boundaries and borderlines have been drawn, agreed upon, oppression internalized, and so I kept myself behind the veil. Invisibility feels like a dentist who took my credit cards, my savings, tens of thousands of dollars, and wouldn't see me when I had a toothache. I paid $1,000 on April 1st. They gave me antibiotics, didn't pull the tooth, left me in pain. I felt fooled. It took me long enough to see why we need more educated Black, Indigenous people of color in service provider roles. Racism is bad for my health and bad for the souls of people inflicting the pain. But some don't believe in souls. They're gonna fill the emptiness inside with stuff, more stuff, and silver and gold. When I don't shrink to fit, I notice others step up quick, making their light shine bright. With financial privileges, some stay unmoving to human suffering, putting roadblocks in people's way, mountains to climb. Others, people, pain gives them pleasure. They haven't figured out how to access the joy from within, getting to know themselves. You have a human right to walk with heads high, confidence in your being, knowing your worth. Invisibility feels like the first therapist I saw asked me, what would you be if you could be anything? At the time, I didn't know I already was. What he was really asking me was what I would do if oppression were standing on my neck. He said it didn't have to be realistic. I was over 200 pounds, so a fashion model on the runways of Paris sounded like fantasy. But the first time I saw a fashion show, even the tiny tots stomping down the stage, fierce eyes, heads held high, I knew what I had been searching for, but the feeling eluded me at 23. Living in shame and poverty. What I saw was confidence. Confidence to walk with heads high and know you're worthy. Invisibility feels It looks like leadership in rooms where racism breathes power, where the right to work to live is violently stripped away, where they wear titles while silence and truth and injustice thrives without consequence. From small nonprofits to corporate giants, this is the foundations of society that are built on harm. Yearly, people go to the legislative office building, pleading with politicians not to cut funding for programs that support marginalized people. Though thoughts of invisibility may still come to my mind in this human experience, parallel to my soul's journey, I am encouraged by those who live boldly and beautifully. The confidence Beyonce gives her children passed down from her parents. Viola Davis, in every word of encouragement she shares, immortalized as a wax goddess at Madame Tussauds. Shirley Ralph receiving her star in the Walk of Fame, sharing her Jamaican heritage that kept her sane. Kevin Hart building legacy, giving back. Kenneth Barris teaching Black history with laughter and light. Tyler Perry creating space for dreamers. Shonda Rhimes creating stories just as she did when she was a child, keeping her spirit rising, her cup overflowing, and inspiring others as she gives back. Kerry Washington living the dream of private school and success as I wish for my children. Roxane Gay writing hunger, facing the pain, letting others know we are not alone. Oprah Winfrey building a school for girls that get to graduate, go on to universities, and have life trajectories filled with possibilities. Jason Coombs creating Bridgeport Film Festivals, giving his community access. The list goes on of Black excellence. People in my life working through the hardest times, still not giving up. I share these stories because representation is necessary when fighting against oppression. I know they're having their soul journey just as I am. Everyone must face their own dark night of the soul. Others going through need to know they can overcome. Facing one of my darkest moments, experiencing racism, I picked up Letter to My Daughter by Maya Angelou. It reached a place in me to be still and know that I am. Yes, there are those that don't want to hear, see, or teach these stories. They say woke no more. They don't understand that statement triggered the gates of heaven to open up and pour down fire to burn out the inequity. We are experiencing social media sharing stories that were once hidden. Mahatma Gandhi said for a time, it will seem that tyrants are winning, but in the end they always fail as truth will prevail. When I read The Invisible Man by Ralph Ellison, I saw myself. It told me I have a part to play in this society, even with invisibility. He said, even an invisible man has a socially responsible role to play. So I do the work. I learn the lessons in this earth school and take in the curriculum, and it's all grist for the mill. Just because you're in a marginalized state of being and people see it, ready to take advantage of you, you don't have to become prey and fall victim to the violence. You can have awareness and stay out of the chaos. Speak up when you see injustices. Your silence won't save you. There are some habits to break, addictions of comfort and emotions to transform. Question to ponder is, what is access? I thought I had access because I can order a latte, venti, cappuccino. But what that meant is someone had access to my bank account to keep me poor and they get richer. Tools of colonization got us scrolling. They call it sleeping and don't want you woke. They get to profit from your suffering. Success to overcome is a must. I started telling myself what I tell other people who are struggling with their existence. You think this is about you. There are lives to be touched. Your life means something. You have purpose. Your life is the message. Live fully. And as Bob Marley taught me, have no fear for atomic energy, for none of them can stop the time. And as I've learned in life, to remain humble in joy and hopeful in sorrow, because this too shall pass. Thank you.